Hey, so today we are going to be creating organic LinkedIn strategies, and this for personal accounts. Right? There's three people here, Aitya, Sarjit, and me. We're going to create, or we will discuss first how to create a strategy because none of, neither of the three of us really are doing a very good strategic approach to posting till now. So we'll first try and figure out, okay, how do we create that? And that's going to be very important because you'll also get to see, okay, how do at least we create frameworks or strategies for new things, right? And then secondly, what we'll try to do is we'll also try to then we'll try to take that framework and apply it to ourselves. And then when we're applying, we'll figure out, oh, the framework needs to be improved, right? So let's see what we come up with. We have, I think it's going to be around an hour long. Yeah, who here has posted like at least 5 times on LinkedIn till now? Like, I know I have. I thought you have too, right? So yeah, Sarjit has also posted, I think, more than 5 times.
Yep.
Divya, Krunal, Saksham. Divya, I think you've also now started posting mostly about the sessions, but yeah,
Yeah,
start
I think
seeing
it's
some
more than
patterns.
5 times. Yeah, now.
Yeah, yeah. Krunal, Saksham, have you ever posted on LinkedIn, or like have you posted more than 5 times on LinkedIn? Oh, got it. Okay. So not yet. Right. So I'll first maybe just start off with. Okay, nice. You just recently started. I'll start off with uh, what I have seen. Right. So from my personal profile, and I am not very consistent on LinkedIn. I don't have a good strategy yet, but we still can get on an average one customer a month. And for us, it's a very high ticket client, so that makes a big impact to our business. And because if to run our business, we need like 2 or 3 customers a month at max, and we can get one of them just from LinkedIn. So the way you get people from LinkedIn, right, is one definitely is your post, they have a reach, your comments could have a reach, you could directly reach out to people. That could be a networking effect that my profile has started showing up when you search for stuff. So because of that, also like just the organic search actually contributes to a lot of a huge part of the leads that we get. Like a lot of the best leads that we get are actually coming through organic searching for different keywords, my profile ranking for those stuff, and then they come to us. We just closed a company, I think last month, right? I think they're doing, I don't know, like 10, 20, 30 million in revenue. So they just were searching for us for some keywords on LinkedIn. They found my profile and then they got there. Day before yesterday, we got a lead that also was started searching for things and then they found us. So, okay, so these are the different ways. What we will primarily be focusing on is the posting aspect, right? There are other aspects as well, but we're just focusing on the posting and how to and what all is required to use your post to get leads, right? And yeah, let's just try and figure out. Okay, so this is a discussion. So anyone who wants, please participate, right? So when you think of this, right? So like, what are the first things that you think we should figure out, or what is something that we can use? For example, whenever I look at something, I say, okay, we need to figure out what the goal is. We need to figure out who the audience is. We need to figure out what the broad narrative would be for the account, right? Or what the message is. So, what else do you think, or something else that we can just think of? Anything random, right? We'll keep putting it into a framework. Anyone?
Yeah. So we need to actually figure out the audience, right? For whom you are going to write.
Yep.
So it will be little easier
Yep.
in a
So
long.
one is the audience. What else? Like, what are the other pieces that we can maybe look at? And we'll create a framework out of it hopefully by in the next 10 minutes or so. So
Then actually templates, right? So structure of
yep,
your writing, you need to figure out first so that you will save time on a weekly basis, daily basis.
yep. Post templates is another thing. What else? Like you just unmute yourself and just start speaking whenever you have an idea.
I think I
Anything
would
else?
think of it as an any other marketing strategy like goal, positioning, messaging, audience.
Yep. Okay. Um, so those are the three things. There's templates. What else?
Believe we have to be clear about the problem that we are solving.
The problem that we are solving. That I think comes under the message, right? So okay, under the message, we need to figure out that okay, what are the specific things that we are talking about.
Exactly, exactly.
Correct. Yep.
We should know what exactly we are serving out there to the market, right? We got to be very
Yep.
clear about that.
Yep. Okay. So I'll just like maybe list on a few other things, right? For example, we can also when we're coming up with a strategy, we can look at okay, who are the people that we can maybe take inspiration from. That hey, these are some people that we can maybe look at. We probably will be creating a calendar of sorts. We'll probably be there's going to be a huge aspect of okay, how do we comment? Because when you're posting, right, a lot of engagement depends on how you're commenting. Okay, how are you commenting? There's a we'll probably have to figure out some sort of like an approach to commenting. Who do you connect with? So we'll have to come up with some sort of approach for connecting with people. When someone accepts a connection request, there might be a message that you send. So you might want to create some sort of like a template that we can send repeatedly in some sort of process where we don't have to type it out every time, right? So just small things like this probably can make a difference. If you're sending a connection request and you want to send it with a message, then maybe what the message should be, right? uh, uh, yeah, I think let's start here. So there's like two other things, right, that I'll add. Like one is what are your unique advantages, right? For example, every person, you might be placed in a particular way, or you might have access to particular things that only you have access to, and so you can utilize that in your content strategy, right? For example, for us, we have our clients. If we can somehow figure out that hey, this is a very specific thing that only we have access to, which means that we can use our clients in our content somehow, or maybe we can invite them to get some content, do some content with us, or let's say we day to day we are working on this. So what are those unique things that we do that we can maybe uh, add to our, or maybe only we can utilize, right? Or something that only we know, we have access to. So, for example, we have a community, so the marketers nexus community. How can we use that maybe somehow in a content strategy, right? Just thinking off the top of my mind. And another thing that we can look at is potentially another thing that we can look at is what is it in the day to day that we do that we can maybe just share with the world, right? Like for us again, for at least for me, right? I run an agency. I'm traveling a lot right now, so I can maybe share about the fact that hey, now I'm Bangalore, now I'm going here, I'm going there. So I can maybe share about all of that stuff. I was in Hyderabad before this, so like that could be something worth sharing, documenting. Maybe we do a lot of marketing strategies for clients, so maybe we can like share that stuff. We create. So yeah, there's a lot of uh, things that we can sort of figure out, right? And again, part of the audience is like, what is, like Saksham said, right? What is the problem that we are solving, and what is the problem that our audience really want more information on, right? Or something that is not very basic. So I've seen a lot of people who post really basic stuff and they get a lot of engagement, but they don't really get any clients or high value clients from there, right? So and versus me, for example, I get like 10 or 20 likes a post, but the amount of revenue we're generating from my profile alone is much more than they generate from their like 100 like profiles in a year. So that, and again, right, okay, what are the real problems that we want to discuss about? Cool. So we just have like a basic stuff. While we were discussing all of that, I was just writing it down uh, behind. So everything that we've sort of discussed. Oh, one more thing, right? So the one last thing. So the goal that we discussed, right? the goal should probably be divided into two parts. One could be a business goal, right? And then there's also there's a very personal aspect to your profile. Right? So there's something that you want to achieve through your profile, or you want to showcase yourself to a world in a certain way, which cannot just be ignored, right? Especially with something like a LinkedIn profile. Uh, so I think we have a lot of parts. While I was speaking, I've created a sheet out of exactly what we discussed, right? Let's just sort of go through that. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So this is what we discussed, right? So goal, audience, message, narrative, unique, advantage, day-to-day stuff, team banter, templates, people to take inspiration from, like a calendar, like a comment strategy, connection strategy, right? So this is the stuff that we just discussed, right? So this is we're slowly creating a framework for the strategy that we want to create. 1 second. Yep. Cool. So okay. So Arjit, should we do you first, because I'm not sure how long your internet will last.
Yeah, sure.
Right? I just we will right. So let's start here, right? And making a strategy in general is a very it's not very creative. Like, people think creating strategies is very creative. No, you need to figure out a very good process, a very good framework, and then you have to stop yourself from wanting to just skip steps. That's what a good how you create a good strategy, at least how I've seen, right? So let's go through all of these one by one. So Arjit, what about your personal goals for your, like, why do you want to post on LinkedIn, like from a very personal objective perspective, whatever comes to your mind?
To be an authority in B2B SaaS.
Can you define it a little more? What
Like
How do you know you're an authority?
like when I'm posting something, or like people when I'm going through a profile, like they should have that get the idea that I'm kind of an authority in B2B SaaS marketing. Like if I'm posting something, then it's good. If they're coming to me, they'll be getting good things, not like when you're getting out of practice.
Okay, so again, how will you know ki this is happening and this is not happening? Are you going to, like, speak with people one on one, or
Okay.
and then someone says something, or is there a number that you want to look at? How will you know that you're becoming an authority in B2B SaaS? Personally, it's not like a business question, it's a personal question. And you can
Yep.
basically say that, hey, if I go somewhere, I want people to say, hey, you're sorry, I've read your content.
Yes, it could be like referrals, getting features, recommendations, like getting featured in others' posts, or like if people are recommending other people to me, or B2B SaaS marketing. I think that's the way to measure it.
Okay, you want, one is getting featured, the other one is referring people to you for what? For reading content, or for clients, or for what?
For clients, yes, for clients, or like anything related to B2B SaaS marketing in
Okay,
India.
so if there is a doubt and someone, like, they're like, hey, go speak with Sarojit.
Yes,
People you respect telling others to speak with you for things related to B2B SaaS, right?
yeah,
Good. This is your personal goal, right? Now, from a
yes,
business perspective, right? And now again, we've already discussed it, but yeah, Sarjeet, like, uh, now business is basically, now it's peer growth, right? So do you also want, are there any goals for peer growth that you want to achieve through your profile?
yes, SQLs, very clear.
So SQL. Now, if you had to create, let's say, a, a funnel of it, right? So you won't directly get an SQL, or do
No,
you think that, or okay, you may directly get an SQL honestly, right? Because people have already seen, they've already like been looking at you and your profile, and they might be in your ICP. So you might actually directly get SQLs. Is there anything else, like maybe not as far as SQLs, that you also want to generate?
Not as of now, no. Nothing that comes to mind.
One could
Nothing that
be
I
that
can measure up.
I'll button here because like this is like you're in the same business. So one could be ICP conversations,
Okay.
right? Because the more conversations you have with your audience, uh,
Hmm.
that might lead to SQLs, that might lead to referrals,
Okay. Yeah.
right? And the referrals may then be SQLs. So like this is one thing that I'll add just because same business, right? Cool. So does anyone have any doubts on why we did this, how we did this, why are we thinking about this, or any questions on hey, why aren't you looking at this or that? Anything regarding that? Any question like those? No. Feel free to like cut us off in the middle and ask questions. Right? Like, cool. So this is there, right? Now, if you look at it, we have to now figure out who the primary audience is. Primary, secondary. The only reason I've divided it like this because it's very hard for people to just say that hey, this is the only person I speak with. So who's your primary audience, Sarjeet?
For people in B2B SaaS.
Can you make it more specific? Who's people?
Uh, Founders, CXOs, head of marketing, head of growth, marketing directors.
Founders, CXOs, head of marketing, head of growth. Cool. What about second? What about B2B SaaS? Can you make that
Yes, I think it will be the same that we use, that is seed to Series C.
seed to Series C? Right. So people in B2B SaaS becomes this, right? And if you look at this, uh, okay, now let's try to figure out more stuff about them. Okay, is this the same? Are like the founders? Will they want to look at the same content as head of marketing? They could, but or is there something that you would want to post which may be only more relevant to founders versus? Okay, let's not think about that. So these are two different audiences, right? Now, or are there? So do you want? How do you want to slice the audience essentially, right? Do you want to like C2 Series C is already a narrow, I think, segment, right? They have a common uh, they have common attributes. Companies in B2 in B2B companies in seed to Series C have common attributes, right? So you can maybe like not you may not want to divide them too much, right? What about founders and head of marketing? Do you want to keep them in the same place? Do you want to keep them in like separate buckets?
I think it will be in the same bucket because in C2 Series C, the head of marketing and founder, they work very closely.
Okay. Yep.
The type of decision or the goals are pretty much same, I guess. I think you'd be a better person to judge it.
I would still maybe because marketing. So if you're putting only marketing related content, right? So yes, marketers would be. But if you talk about finance in startups, founders will still want to maybe you know may still be
Yes.
so just sort of push this here. Right. Right. So we now have this. These are the primary audiences and these are the secondary audiences. Right?
Yeah.
And this also I'll sort of just
Can I also add VC?
yeah. Okay. Done. So we will then we'll figure out who exactly are you writing for later on.
Hmm.
Do you know who exactly in VC companies, or who exactly, like what kind of companies and stuff?
Yes. VCs who fund B2B SaaS.
Yeah, but like VC is a firm, right? So, or VC are like
Yes.
people. So, like who in their company are you looking for? Scouts? Are you looking for the decision makers or like the founders of VC companies? So, do you know who in the
Okay, I'm
VC?
not really clear about the org structure of VCs, but yeah, of course, the decision makers or scouts can
Sure,
be another good.
cool.
Yeah.
So let's keep it as that, right? So one thing again now. Um, okay, before we go to narrative, right? Um, okay, let's we can keep going up and down. Okay, has this been useful till now for others who like apart from Sorajit? Have you been able to understand? Okay, how are we approaching this entire thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And by the end of it, right, I want to have defined all of this, right? Like, and I want you to also go through something very similar, right? Because you've just literally built the framework in front of you, but I want to go through something very similar and do this exercise. It takes an hour because we'll finish it in an hour, but it's going to give you a lot of clarity into what you are doing. Okay, what's the narrative that you want to showcase, Sarojit?
Hmm.
For example, do you
This
want
is
to
true.
talk more about that? Hey, SEO, right? Like because I know that you do SEO. Do you want to talk more about SEO? That hey, like this is our way of doing SEO, right? Like
So,
or
do there have to be only one type of narrative, or like it could be
so the
multiple?
okay, yeah. So I'll talk about this. It's a narrative. I've seen what works best, right? Is you start with something very very niche, and then over time you can keep expanding. For example, you start with only let's say SEO, like one specific thing in SEO. Also, even in SEO, right? Maybe one specific angle to SEO, and you only talk about that for only one audience. And then later on, after you start getting some traction, you start adding one or two posts that are in the second phase of your narrative. So narrative evolves. The first narrative is going to be very narrow, and then you slowly broaden it up. And one thing we can do, right, to test whether this is correct or not, is we can, out of the three of us, one person can maybe try starting with a broad narrative, and then we'll see if that worked or not. Fair? But what I've seen really work is starting with a very, very narrow narrative and then slowly broadening it up. And that just works really well. I've seen it work in multiple profiles. Even if like the content isn't very good, this process works. Why this works is because, for example, if you see a content by someone, right, and then the next day you see similar content, now you know why to follow them. And if I follow this person, I will get content like this, right? The problem with my profile, like my current profile, I've run a lot of tests. I write about very different things. Sometimes I write about SEO, sometimes I write about ads, sometimes I'll start writing about business, sometimes I'll start writing this random stuff. So people don't know what to expect when they come to my profile because it's a lot of different things. I think it's good content, but it's so many things that you don't know what to follow this person for, right? So that's been a problem with what I do. Okay, so let's start with the level one, level two, level three. What's the level one stuff that you want to do? Like first, then you can
I
sort
think
of
that
expand it. Yep.
if level one would be SEO, it has worked for me in the past. So I think I'll start with that.
Okay. SEO now you'll have to be more specific. SEO is still too broad. So is there like a so inside SEO, right? What would be your unique angle or your stand? What do you take a stand on? What is a unique angle that you can talk about repeatedly? If you want me to give examples,
Sure.
or do you have any ideas? Like, then we take those first.
I think by unique angles, you mean like the last time that I talked about content strategy?
Yes. So you had like a very unique angle. That was that. Okay. For example, you can like all our processes, right? The entire sprint thing is very unique.
Hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So sprints, manual, not using tools, right? So this is what. So you have to repeatedly keep, no matter what you have said, try to come back to this, right? Uh, Maybe like goals of SEO, right? And all of this, if you look at these content pieces, right, you're sort of taking a very uh, this is our approach to SEO is very unique as a company, right? And when you talk about that, and we've built that approach together, Saurjit and I. So you can talk about this stuff. Okay, what are the leading metrics, lagging metrics? How do we know it's working? Hey, here is some result that I'm sure is working. So this is like our approach is very unique to SEO. The entire approach is unique, right? So when someone follows you, they know that okay, if I follow this person, I will get a very unique way of doing SEO, and this person proves that it's working. Right? So a proof of SEO working. Right? So right. So it could be like case studies. It could be like so. What are you repeatedly talking about? This is still like a lot of stuff, but like you get right. Like you'll have to call it something. For example, we can call it uh, agile SEO, right? That we had started, right? Sanjay,
Yep, I'm here. I'm here.
right? So maybe instead of SEO, you can talk about agile SEO. And agile SEO, then you can sort of talk about that. Okay, what are the different ways to do it, processes, KPIs, and you can keep going into it. But talking about agile SEO every day,
Yep.
right? Cool. Just for the sake of time, I know level two. Level two. What would you want to do? Okay, let's just take a bit more.
So level two would be a bit broader, right?
Yeah, or you can start adding topics.
Or I can talk about spare growth,
Okay, Spear growth as in
like our company culture, what's happening.
you're going into business
Yes.
lessons, and your unique angle is what you've learned from what you're seeing, right? This is how you are expanding it, and then obviously there can be like a level before this, after this. But is this also clear to everyone? Like there has to be a topic, but then there has to be a unique angle to it. And obviously, like this is something that we are just coming up with, and we'll show you how it works in 3 months. You'll see exactly what you are seeing here. Sorry, it's Monday.
Yep.
Starting Monday, Saul is going to implement all of the stuff, and you'll see exactly how it works. Over time, you'll see how the engagement is faring and all of that stuff. Right? This is there. Now, any questions on this? Like maybe you have a question on like, hey, this is what I think I should use. Is this narrow enough? That could be a question. Anyone want to ask that? I think Saksham, you're starting,
So,
right? Yeah. Aditya.
okay, anyone is actually asking?
No. Aditya, you go.
Yeah. So I was saying like we need to completely follow that strategy, or sometimes you can actually speak something else as well, right?
So try to. So if you're posting for like at least and by the way, we've discussed this internally. We're going to post at least 5 times a week, right? So yes, you
Yeah.
can say other stuff as well, but don't like that should be less than 20%, which means 1 in 5 at max is when you talk about something else,
Oh, yeah, got it.
right? But then as you start gaining followers, you can start increasing that from 1 in 5 to 2 in 5 to 3 in 5. And you can keep doing that,
Yeah, got it.
right?
So as Surjit, told that, like that his target audience is founders and VCs and everyone. So while
Mhm.
posting the content for them, so the uh, so he need to interact with them on a regular basis, or like what is the frequency of connecting with them personally, or like that.
Got it. We haven't even come to that yet. So that's like that we have a section for that. But any questions on the topic itself? Maybe Saloni, you can maybe pick up that. Hey, this is the topic that I think I'll be talking about. Right? Is this narrow enough? Should I make it broader? Should I make it narrower? Any questions around that?
I guess it's helpful as of now.
Hmm.
Maybe
Okay.
if it is considering SEO, it can be more narrow. No.
No, for you, like, what would you be posting
Yeah.
about?
For me, I'll be posting about more of content strategy part, like
What's your unique angle in it?
unique angle, as in I want to talk about content. Maybe I can narrow it down. I don't know about it, but
Mhm.
I can provide some tips or value from it, like that.
If you're so again, that's not unique angle, right? That's like how you are forming the content. What's the type of the content you're posting? And content strategy, for example, is too broad, and that does not have a unique angle to it. For example, and is your target audience, let's say, writers? If it's writers, the way you talk about content strategy is going to be very different than whether if it's like a founder or someone else. So if I assume that your target audience is exactly what Storage is, just for the interest of time, I don't think the founder would want to listen to how you can improve, or like a process to like dial down uh, something very specific, right? Like probably won't be very helpful. For example, the way you talk about a topic, right? That flow of writing, let's say, right? The way you would talk about, for if your audience was content writers, you would talk about that in a way that how do you do it? And if this exact same thing you have to do for founders, you would maybe talk about that how is it helpful, or maybe not going into specifics, but okay, how can you create processes around that, or stuff like that, right? So instead of tips, it becomes how do you create processes, policies, case studies.
Like for example, if I'm posting about a certain process which everyone follows, so maybe I can add my twist to it, like how can I deal with it, or how can I add something to it just to change it. Mainly this can will be a different set of content for founders or anyone, just to provide my side of the view.
Yeah, so but I'm just saying that instead of talking about that, hey, instead of like, hey, this is how to uh, use Grammarly or something to increase your grammar mistakes, or to use flow, maybe use Hemingway, so that your level of writing reduces. Instead of that, this messaging is for writers. If you flip this and you're writing for founders, then you can say that, okay, give your maybe you can talk about uh, how using Hemingway, uh, or integrating Hemingway into your process can help improve flow and maintain consistency of voice across the brand. Right? You've said the exact same thing,
Right.
but
Right.
yeah, sorry.
So I guess Ishan, what you're trying to say is like we need to write like from a like we need to keep in mind about the top-down metrics or KPIs that founders or the ICP cares about,
Correct. That's why we
right?
even identified who we are writing for. That was the entire purpose of that exercise, right? So that
Okay.
uh, we can customize our content around it, and then your unique perspective, right? For example, if there is okay, let's do two more. If you aren't able to figure out your unique perspective right now, let's do 2 3 more sections, and you'll probably be able to figure it out. Right? So one is unique advantages. Again, Sarjeet, what are some unique advantages that you have?
Oh, so like unique advantage of that I have over my ICP.
N- no, unfair advantages, right? So it's called. So what? So are you, for example, the agile SEO thing, right? That is something that only you and I have made, right? We literally built it, so no one else knows about it.
Okay, so the unique
That's like
advantage would be like our unique process, the achievements that we have done for our clients.
uh, it's- yeah. Yeah.
I think since we're an agency, we have access to a lot of data. That could be one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that comes in.
This is very good. Yeah. Access to a lot of data since we have access counts. Yeah. What else? So, okay. Is there anything else you want to add that you can think of right now? Right. So now this is like some unique advantages Sorjit has,
Yeah.
right? Now you could also maybe have uh, other, and so everyone has different unique advantages, right? So, for example, again, if does anyone want to say that, hey, I cannot figure out what my unique advantages are, let me know. So this is like another one. What is some day to day? If you have any doubts like that, you'll have to stop me. I won't get to know your doubt. Sorry, like what about this, right? What is something that you can share regularly?
Regularly. Some new tools that I came around, some new hack that I come around. Uh,
Not say hack.
that's maybe each and every week there is some other issue regarding every marketing channel. Maybe a way that I solve that particular problem.
Yeah,
I can talk about
yeah.
that. Hmm. What
What
else?
else
I
you
talk
do
to a
on a
lot of.
day to day basis? It does not
I
matter
talk
if
to a
it does not have to like be here. It can be anything. It could be like something personal as well.
I talk to a lot of people from the industry, from through communities. I can something maybe tag them in my post and something write about that.
Yep. Right. So this is again stuff that Saurabh can share day to day that you're already doing, right? Team banter. So I'm just like skipping this process. Like this is done, right? And again, if you have any questions, ask. It's what is some team banter that can be done, right? And so, for example, like when Sorjit posts, what is something that I can go and just like tease him about, or just like keep say, or like challenge him, or something like that, right? Because our unique advantage is because we're creating it for three people, all three being from the same company. We will probably be able to even like go to each other's post and start like instead of just saying great post, like we can say something more quirky that shows our culture as well, right? So, what is some specific team banter ideas that Sarjit you may have? You can use with either Aditya or with me because we are your team who's also posting on LinkedIn right
Yep, I think this would be more situation specific. Like one thing that we did, if Ishaan last month, Ishaan posted like how he has been onboarding a new client every month. Like I kind of went and in the comments and challenged him like, how long do you think you can do it? So this is like more situation specific.
now. So, challenging each other to achieve something consistently, right? What else? You can keep doing this stuff. Like, what else, right? Sort of. Can you maybe talk about someone else or like something that you appreciate about someone else? That, hey, just the other day I was like working and then I found this person doing this and this is really cool, right? So you can maybe like just,
Also, like if Surajit is writing a post regarding team banter, so one from the team can, if he has missed something, so one from the team can add something to it and can, like add some value in the post. Ki you have missed this, so we can, add this on and we can try this
yeah,
on.
yeah,
That
like,
It could be a friendly tease about any quirky habits that anyone has. Like Ishan has a habit of turning most of our conversations into LinkedIn posts, and I think I commented about it. So
yeah,
he has this habit.
yeah, tease each other about habits, right? Any idea? So I'm looking for something from Aditya as well, and then we'll go to the next section.
Yeah, we can actually mention each other in our like writing, right?
So how
Then
are we mentioning?
yeah, suppose if we did something together, right? Then we can actually mention that like we did this and that happened, like, and the other person will actually share his perspective in the comments.
So you can actually pick out actual quotes that maybe Ishan or like I told her, like maybe Aditya said me something to me. Yeah, and you can pick out that actual post quote and put it in the post itself. Like, this is what Aditya told me 1 month
Yeah,
back and how it is relevant to my current post.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Maybe we can just
also
ask questions on LinkedIn.
yeah,
Yep.
and also like posting failures as well, like clearly like
No,
showing
not
what we
like
have.
like like me posting Sorjit ka failure.
No, 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 not like that. Like if we are working together, right? Then we can actually show
Yeah.
that like we were actually working on that and we actually didn't got results like through this and like that, and then we come up with this thing and in that actually format.
Yeah, Aditya, I'm trying to be an authority and you're thinking about posting about my failures.
It's not like
Yeah, cool. So this is like a lot of team banter that can be now done, right? So now we know when we're commenting on each other's post, what are some ideas to comment on each other's post, right? Or if we can just like if you're posting like one day, I'll just like I'll ask like, hey Sorjit, like, or hey Aditya, what do you think about my recent posts? That's the entire post, right? So if you had to rate me out of 5 on my recent post, how did I do? And then that could be like, then there could be like we can not a good example, but that could be turned into a post, like a conversation that we're having on LinkedIn. Like it starts with a post and then it just becomes like a conversation in the thread, like in the chat, right? So could be interesting. Like some angles there could be interesting, right? Cool. Templates. I don't exactly. Aditya, you mentioned templates. Do you have any ideas on where we can get templates or ideas from?
yeah, we can actually check out the successful templates which are actually working on LinkedIn, right?
Got it. So we will
Successful
start with
accounts.
people,
Yeah,
right? Got it. So before templates, we start with people.
yeah.
So for us, right, I have already like looked at a few people that we want to look at, and then their posts, and then we can sort of start looking at okay, which exact post of theirs would work. Right? For example, one is Justin Wells or something. He also sells a course on this, I guess.
And the structure you are actually using, right, with emojis and like writing
Another one would be, I
message,
think, Brad
giving
Hudson. I
lot of
think he's a
space.
friend of Justin Welch
That
only.
is also nice.
Yeah. So he has, if you look at his post, right, one second. Yeah. So he uses very specific templates. If you look at his post, you can clearly see the templates that he's using. Right? And he's Twitter first, so you will see that a lot of his posts are right. So
You
we
can
can
also check out
start
Brad Hudson.
Brad Hudson.
Yes, sir. He's a friend of Justin Welch only. Like they're friends.
Was new.
Nope, not this guy.
Oh,
Okay. But later,
yeah,
I'll let you know later. I think
yeah, cool.
which I like
We
is.
will see.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we can look at people, right? That who we want to take inspiration from, whose post do we like personally. Then we can figure out okay, what are some posts that we can save posts that hey, this is some way that he wrote, and I can also write something similar. In this way, right? We're not copying the content itself. We're talking about the way the post was structured. Right? It's there. Now, commenting just because of time, right? I want to focus a little more on the calendar, at least one calendar. It's a comment strategy. Uh, find very good people, turn on notifications for them as soon as they post. Try to remember when they're posting as soon as they post. Be one of the top one or two people who are commenting on it with value, so that you can get their entire audience to you, right? Next is the connection strategy. Connection strategy is like anyone who's in your ICP, uh, your audience, right? Just keep connecting with them. It's that simple. It's not something very different. Does anyone have any other ideas for commenting or connecting?
Yeah, I have actually one thing to say about
Yeah,
comment strategy.
yeah,
Like suppose we are actually posting on LinkedIn, right? Then means we are actually getting into the LinkedIn community, right? So at that
mm,
time we have to behave like a friend rather than like behaving like an influencer.
okay,
So our like comment and the way we are actually engaging with the people should be in that way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then people who you start commenting with regularly or stuff, try to take it off LinkedIn. Speak with them so that you actually build a relationship. And then what? That's been easier for me personally. I've spoken to someone off LinkedIn, right? Then commenting more naturally becomes easier for me personally. But then, yeah, even if you've had a conversation, try to have a conversation in the chat box, and just see what kind of person they are. Try to come up with some things, know about some things about them, so that you can make it more personal as well. Yeah, right. Then let's figure out how we can do all of this without spending too much time, right? Because yeah, if we had 3 hours a day to do this, then everyone would be very good at it, but we don't. Right? So now let's come up with the calendar, and let's also talk about time management at the end of it, right? So Sarjeet, we're coming up with your calendar,
Okay.
right? Now, there's a lot of different ways we can come up with content calendars, right? Uh, you could either have themes, right? You can either decide themes. Like just one easy way that I can think of right now is figure out themes first. For example, could be that results is a theme, right? Approach is a theme. What else have we discussed, right? Issues, people,
Maybe purpose of each theme.
uh, didn't understand.
Maybe like if we are listing down the themes on which we want to post, we can also list down the purpose of the theme which we are posting.
Can you give me an example?
For example, if we are writing content on personal stories, so the purpose of our personal story would be to boost the reach of the post or something like that.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Maybe we can. Yeah. So, uh, personal stories. Where would stories would something like that come into your as well? So okay. So anyway, so there's a lot of stuff here. Just because we just have 9 minutes left, right? So and then yes, like you figure out, okay, why are we doing each of these things? What happens, or like what happens when you do this, right? Like what kind of people maybe, and hopefully all of this has to be aligned to this primary audience, right? Or the secondary audience, right? I would recommend Sarjeet, like secondary should be primary here.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I mean, from a business perspective, it makes it easier for us. We sell to heads of marketing and head of growth more than founders in a lot of cases. Or like now we will,
Got it.
right? So anything that you post has to be about them, right? And you have to, for example, personal story, right? Don't post it in a way ki like random people start engaging, because I've seen that after like if a post goes viral, right? Like the birthday post. After that, we like my team got me a cake. I posted about that, or like on Holi, I posted about that stuff. After getting a lot of that, it's very easy to get that reach. But after that, like the right people's engagement dropped from me every time, because then my post started showing up to random people. And yeah, for I think after every time we do that, after a while, for a while, like it's the correct engagement had dropped, at least for me. And I've just noticed it 3 times. So yeah, maybe something to think about. Right? So our goal, maybe try to stick to this, right? But yeah, definitely there's some merit in like figuring out purpose of themes. I'm not able to put it in words right now. Cool. So inside like approach, right? Approach, you can pre-plan stuff. For example, Sorjit, Agile SEO. Start like what are all the topics you can think about in under Agile SEO? One post, one message. Give me
Okay.
10. Go. Should I show you 10? Hello? Um, you're on mute. Sorry.
Hello, hello. Yep, sorry.
Yeah.
Just
Should
netted
I
it
show
up.
you? Do you have any ideas? What do you want me to show you?
So
Like
like
what
topics
10?
under yeah, let's say can be even like strategic content creation,
No, wait. Like a specific topic, like a very specific topic that you can write a post on.
very specific topic that I can write post.
For
Okay.
example, you had written about zero search volume
Yes.
keyword,
Okay, that could be one. Uh, or the topic like from the last webinar, it could be like a 3 easy way to get backlinks.
and you had like four, right?
Yes, I had.
And then you can write one post on each one of those as well, right?
Yep.
What else?
What else? I can write about how we solve the indexation issue, challenges. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Since we are talking about like approach, right? I just like try to come up with a lot of them very quickly, right? Just since
Okay.
because we have this now, right? It becomes very easy to do it. I'll show you. It's approach. Um, so let's say we're doing keyword research. So there's different ways to do keyword research, right? Favorite keyword research tools.
Like I can write how I do not like tools while keyword research.
Do not
That's an
like
approach.
tools. Uh, why? Right? So inside keyword research, we're able to get to all of these different small topics. There can be more as well, right? For example, how to know if there is volume zero SV keywords, right? Why keyword difficulty sucks, right? Then you can talk about Moz bar is like an industry secret. You can talk about uh, Suval, right? Another like tool based thing, right? Then you can maybe talk about um, right just with approach. Okay, like maybe we can move these two. Like tools is could be one more, right? Tools.
Yes.
So this also sort of goes here. Um, but yeah, you can keep coming up with ideas very easily, and you don't have to think about what to post about, because now you know that hey, I whatever I post about needs to be helpful here. You can talk about keyword mix, right? You can maybe then there could be some very specific thing that you're doing, right? That for example, you could talk about the website category analysis, popular categories, you've found popular keyword combinations. So these are like easily just like 9, okay, or 10, but 9, but then we found all these other stuff as well, right? So it once you have figured out that okay, this is what I want to speak about, these are my unique advantages as you're trying to create a like all these topics, right? You'll be able to just keep scrolling up and every time you look at something you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what they want. Oh, okay, this is what they want. Oh, okay, this is what I want to write about. Oh, okay, this is another thing I can come up with. Right. And once you have themes, you can also sort of say that okay, for example, this, right? You're posting 5 a week, this is enough stuff for 3 weeks. And we're just on keyword research mostly, right? You can have this, you can keep adding stuff and you'll have enough content for a very long time. Then you can start repurposing this. For example, if you sit with this, and I'm sure you can do this already, you just sit with this for like 30 minutes. All you have to do is come up with a lot of topics. It'll be very easy for
Yep.
you to keep doing this. Adding stuff, right? You can go back to numbers, look at results. You can look at okay, what are we doing specifically for, or you can like take up a very specific blog, make a case study out of it, right? Very specific tip. So this, this is just like how easy it becomes to create these topics. Then you have to figure out how to post, when to post, but that's not a big deal, right? Maybe just figure out like a one specific time because the same audience gets activated. If you're only posting like 5 times a week, pick one time since our audience is and you can like test between times. I like posting at 6, uh, but that's primarily because I usually have time at 6. So you can look at when you have availability to post, but you can also more importantly look at other stuff. For example, like when is your audience active, uh, and like different stuff, right? Stuff like that. You can look at them.
So
Yeah.
yeah, as per my knowledge, like I have always like listen that like posting in the morning works really well on LinkedIn, like between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay. So for us, right, since we are also going to be posting to the US client for US, right? So maybe for us like 4:30 p.m. in India would be a good time. That could be another like assumption. Like, so we have to sort of look at okay, where do these people stay? Like, for example, once then we didn't look at okay, like which geography do these people are these people in? Then similarly, you'll have to make sure that your entire network is also in that geography. Cool. Was this helpful at all? This is the approach, right? And instead of starting here, start here, and then like figure this stuff out, create a complete calendar out of it, create topics out of it, and then start posting. Start like have a specific time to do it. You can now create a lot of content in bulk. You can start uh, looking at okay, this stuff something I did. Then you can have like a place where you're storing all these ideas. I prefer something like a Notion or something like just a WhatsApp group. You can just like posting stuff there, you adding stuff in a WhatsApp group. Just like create systems around uh, doing this. Right. So when to post and then systems around posting. Cool. Is was this helpful? Georgia,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll start working on it from next week. Let's see.
Georgia,
Yes.
yeah.
Was.
Cool.
Yep.
So,
Of
do
course.
you so Saloni, Ahan, do you want the template that we created together? Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
We will share the template with you as well,
Thank you
right?
so much.
Yeah.
So
Aditya,
one more
yeah.
question. Like for example, if I have listed down ideas like 13 to 14 ideas for a monthly basis, so can I list down ideas in one go and then like create a post randomly, like on the spot from those ideas? So will it work?
I think that's more of a process question. So you'll have to figure out what works for you. For example, if I tried writing all of my posts in early on and then posting later, I used to hate the post so much that later on when I read it, I just couldn't get myself to post it. So it works better for me to write on the spot, and I've trained
Right.
myself to write it in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then no matter what I've written at the end of the 20 minutes, I'm okay with posting that.
Right, because I think that if you think about an idea, it takes a lot of time. So once you get an idea, you can create a post on the spot and do your thing on the post and add something.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever works for you. So you'll have to define your own system. Right? Just
Right.
to maybe recap everything in a minute.
Mhm.
Right? First, figure out a goal. Goal has to be a personal goal and a business goal, because if you're only thinking of business goals and personal goals aren't being met, you won't really enjoy it, or you might just stop doing it. Right? Next is the audience part. Figure out the audience. Try to figure out who the primary audience is, and then make sure most of your posts, if not all, are catering towards them. The narrative. Start with a narrow narrative, then slowly you can broaden it out, right? And then you can have a level 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of that stuff. And if you pick one as a level one, it's not working or you aren't enjoying, you can just change it. Big deal. Right? If it's not working, means not a lot of people know you till now. So you can always change that. Right? Unique advantages. Again, what is something unique to you about your narrative that you can talk about? Right? What are some day-to-day stuff you can share? How you can do comment with people you want to have banter with? Right? Who are people? Some people that you can take inspiration from. You can create templates now with the template, and then based on themes, you can create a lot of topics. Since you now have the narrative of yours or the messages, so now creating topics is going to be very easy. Once you create the topics, you can look at templates and you can maybe just merge a topic, a template, create a post very fast out of it. Then figure out a commenting strategy, maybe block off 30 minutes in a day just to do that. Have a connection strategy, just connect with the right people. I don't have a very good idea on how to do this. Uh, Try to keep getting stuff off. Like if someone is commenting on anything, make sure you speak with them once, right? Either on chat or on calls. Right? Figure out when to post and create systems and process around posting so that it becomes easy and becomes a routine for you, so that you can stay consistent. Yep, that's everything that we discussed. Any questions, or we'll end the recording? Yep.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Ishaan.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Ishaan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Surali. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.